Welcome to our channel where history, mystery, and big money collide over the smallest pieces of metal. Today, we're diving into the unbelievable story of the 1983 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that has stunned collectors and investors alike by reaching a jaw-dropping value of $74 million due to a combination of rare minting errors, historical context, and collector demand that has skyrocketed over the decades. And we're about to take you on an incredible journey into why this tiny copper-plated zinc coin, which was originally worth just a single cent, now carries the weight of a small fortune. So buckle up as we uncover how minting anomalies, transitional mistakes, unique die pairings, and numismatic oddities have transformed this coin from everyday change into a record-smashing legend. Starting with the historical background, where in 1982 the U.S. Mint made a pivotal shift in the metal composition of the penny, transitioning from 95% copper to a copper-plated zinc planchet to cut down on rising material costs. But in 1983, during this transitional era, many strange and unexplained phenomena began surfacing from the mints, including planchet anomalies, off-metal strikes, doubled dies, and the now infamous 1983 copper penny error, which is the stuff of numismatic dreams, as the Philadelphia Mint accidentally struck some 1983 pennies on leftover copper planchets from 1982 instead of the new zinc ones, creating an unintentional hybrid coin that should not exist. And because the Philadelphia Mint didn't use mint marks in 1983, the coin appears deceptively normal to the casual eye, yet it weighs 3.11 grams instead of the 2.5 grams expected from the new zinc cents, and this crucial detail, revealed only by precise measurement, has led to a whirlwind of excitement among collectors, with just a handful of these coins ever authenticated, each one setting off bidding wars at auction and fetching prices well into 6 and 7 figures depending on condition. And then there's the 1983 double die reverse variety, a stunning error where the die used to strike the back of the coin had been engraved twice slightly offset, creating a dramatic doubling effect especially visible in the words 1 cent and United States of America, making it one of the most recognizable and desired double dies in U.S. coinage, especially because it too came out of the Philadelphia Mint, which made more than 7 billion pennies that year, yet only a tiny handful of them exhibit this doubling, suggesting a rare and brief die use before being pulled or corrected, and that scarcity has fueled its value over the years, leading to specimens in top mint state condition being auctioned off for tens of thousands of dollars apiece, and collectors continuously hunt through rolls and jars hoping to be the next to uncover one. And it doesn't end there, because the 1983 D penny, minted in Denver, also shows its own breed of anomalies, with several discovered examples of broad strikes, off-center errors, clipped planchets, die cracks, cuds, and even a few dramatic strike-through errors where foreign materials got between the die and the planchet during minting, embedding unusual textures or impressions onto the coin's surface that should never be there, instantly turning a common cent into a valuable error specimen. And when you start to combine these anomalies with high-grade preservation, like coins graded MS-67 or higher, you find yourself in an entirely new stratosphere of value, especially when the coin is certified by top-tier grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, which offer not only authentication but provenance tracking that enhances desirability for elite collectors. And while most people overlook pennies as worthless pocket change, savvy numismatists recognize that the 1983 cent is surrounded by layers of minting history, policy changes, and economic pressures that created the perfect storm for a legendary coin to emerge. And with the discovery of copper-based 1983 cents continuing to make headlines even today, speculation abounds as to how many more are still undiscovered, potentially sitting in jars, drawers, or old collections waiting to shock the world. And considering the context in which these coins were struck, at a time when the mint was struggling with machine calibration, die longevity, and composition experimentation, it's no surprise that anomalies slip through quality control. But it's the incredibly low survival rate of these rare errors in pristine condition that makes them astronomically valuable, especially when coupled with dramatic visual features like full steps on Lincoln's memorial, deep cameo finishes from early die strikes, or rainbow toning from long-term storage in unique environments. And when all these variables intersect, rare composition, dramatic visual errors, limited examples, and high-grade preservation, you get what numismatists call a perfect storm coin. And the 1983 cent is the quintessential example, inspiring stories of accidental millionaires who unknowingly held onto one of these treasures for decades, only to later discover their life had changed with a single trip to a coin shop or grading service. And even more fascinating is the fact that this coin's rise in value has continued steadily over the decades, fueled not just by its rarity but also by increasing public interest in coin collecting driven by social media, auction results, and viral stories that bring renewed attention to old coins, and as demand grows while supply remains fixed, prices climb ever higher, and experts predict that top examples could continue to break auction records for years to come, especially as more collectors enter the hobby with disposable income and a desire to own a tangible piece of American history, and the implications stretch beyond just collectors, because the 1983 cent has also influenced counterfeit detection, educational outreach by mints, and even curriculum in economic studies that highlight how perceived value, rarity, and condition can transform the monetary worth of an object far beyond its face value. And it's not only the headline-grabbing errors that matter, because even minor die chips, subtle RPMs, repunchment marks, or minor planchet flaws can push the value of a 1983 penny into the hundreds or thousands depending on collector interest and market timing, and auction houses report increasing frequency of these coins crossing the block with active and aggressive bidding, often between institutional buyers, wealthy private collectors, and museums looking to round out their collections with key pieces from pivotal years in minting history. And this surge in attention has created an ecosystem of experts, graders, auctioneers, and researchers all focusing in on the 1983 cent with laser precision, analyzing the smallest anomalies and discovering new varieties still being cataloged, and this creates an exciting prospect for viewers like you who may very well be sitting on a small fortune hidden in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered. So it's no surprise that the legend of the 1983 1-cent coin has earned it a place among the most sought-after and scrutinized modern coins in U.S. history. And with recent private sales rumored to be in excess of $5 million for exceptional examples and ongoing speculation that future sales may break even the $10 million mark, the coin's legendary status is only growing. And when you combine that with the educational and historical importance of the 1983 cent, marking a turning point in U.S. minting practices and economic strategy, you realize it's more than just a coin. It's a symbol of transformation, of how the smallest object can become the largest mystery, and as collectors continue to search rolls, flea markets, estate sales, and their own family piggy banks hoping to uncover the next great error, the buzz around the 1983 cent remains red hot, and rightfully so, because it's not just about the mistakes, it's about the story they tell, and few coins tell a richer story than the 1983 cent, so whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, let this be your sign to check your pocket change carefully, because you never know when a $74 million coin might be sitting right in the palm of your hand. And with that, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into one of numismatics' most fascinating treasures, and if you're intrigued by stories like this and want to explore more legendary coins that changed lives and rewrote history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to join our growing community of coin enthusiasts, because here, every cent has a story, and some of them are worth a fortune. Next. Today we're delving deep into the fascinating world of the 1994 1-cent coin, a humble penny minted in the United States that has stunned the numismatic community by soaring in value all the way up to an astounding $62 million because of a mysterious blend of minting errors, rare anomalies, historical coincidences, and collector-driven demand that have elevated it far beyond its original worth of a single cent. And while it may seem almost too incredible to believe, the truth behind its value lies in the complex and often unpredictable world of coin production, where a single mistake at the mint can transform a mass-produced object into a one-of-a-kind treasure. And the 1994 penny, which at first glance appears unremarkable with its standard copper-plated zinc composition and familiar Lincoln portrait, actually hides a wealth of fascinating secrets that continue to emerge even 3 decades after its release. And to truly understand why this coin is worth such an eye-watering amount, we have to journey back to the United States Mint facilities in 1994, where over 6.5 billion pennies were produced across multiple mints including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But amidst this vast sea of identical coins came a very small number of pieces that were unlike the rest, coins with errors so rare and dramatic that they defied logic and standard procedures, beginning with the infamous 1994 double die obverse error, which displays noticeable doubling on Lincoln's eye, mouth, and the motto, "In God We Trust," giving the coin a ghostly appearance that caught the attention of error specialists and collectors almost immediately. Yet what makes this particular double die so valuable isn't just the dramatic nature of the doubling but the incredibly small number of examples discovered, suggesting that the die was used for a very short run before being retired or corrected. And then there's the remarkable 1994 wide AM variety, a subtle spacing difference in the reverse, where the A and M in America are clearly separated instead of touching as expected for that year. And since wide AMs were not supposed to be struck on business strike coins in 1994, the appearance of these errors implies a die mix-up at the mint, possibly due to a proof reverse die being used on a circulation strike, making this variety not just a visual anomaly but a technical one with deep implications for minting practices, and collectors go absolutely wild over wide AM and close AM variants because they are tied to a very narrow time frame and die pairing inconsistency, leading to fierce competition and huge premiums at auction. And then there's the extremely rare 1994 off-metal strikes, including documented cases of 1994 cents struck on dime planchets, foreign coin planchets, and even blank steel washers from vending machine blanks, all of which represent massive minting malfunctions where the incorrect planchet was fed into the striking chamber, resulting in bizarre and sometimes beautiful hybrid coins with the design of a penny but the size, weight, or color of another denomination. And each of these off-metal strikes is not only a marvel of minting error but also a piece of history, as they reflect the behind-the-scenes complexity of mint operations and quality control procedures that occasionally let extraordinary mistakes slip through. And the 1994 cent has even more layers of fascination when you consider the numerous examples of dramatic strike-through errors, where foreign material such as grease, thread, plastic, or even metal shavings became lodged between the die and the planchet, leaving deep impressions or ghost-like images across Lincoln's face or the memorial on the reverse, effectively making each one of these coins a unique piece of art formed by accident and mechanical failure. And then you have the broad strikes, off-center strikes, double strikes, and clipped planchets that emerged that year, many of which were immediately spotted by roll hunters and dealers who recognized their rarity, and over time, these errors have only become more valuable as examples have disappeared into private collections or been graded and encapsulated by major services like PCGS and NGC, often earning MS65 or higher grades and fetching tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands at auction depending on the severity and visibility of the error. And then there's the notorious 1994 D penny with a misplaced mint mark, where the D from Denver is punched in a completely unexpected location, too high, too low, or even inverted. Errors that are extremely uncommon in modern coinage due to advancements in die production and minting technology, and the appearance of such misaligned mint marks in 1994 raised questions among experts and led to in-depth studies about die preparation and hand-punching errors still being possible even late in the 20th century. And as all of these factors continue to accumulate, the legend of the 1994 penny grew rapidly, aided by viral social media posts, news coverage of unexpected auction results, and the rise of online marketplaces where private sales began surpassing traditional valuations, with some high-grade, error-rich examples changing hands for millions in private deals that added even more mystique and speculation to the already hot market for 1994 cents. And beyond the technical errors, there's also a growing trend of tone collectors pursuing 1994 pennies with rainbow toning, an effect caused by years of storage in certain environmental conditions, particularly in PVC flips or old coin folders, which can create stunning iridescent patterns across the surface of the coin. And when these naturally toned coins also contain errors, they become even more desirable and rare, leading to massive bidding wars among collectors who value both the aesthetic beauty and the mechanical uniqueness of the coin. And while all of this might seem like a perfect storm, it actually represents just the beginning of the 1994 cent story, because researchers and experts continue to discover new die varieties, new examples of known errors, and even brand new categories of anomalies that had gone unnoticed for years, including coins with partial collar strikes, retained cuds, rotated dies, and even examples struck with reverse dies that had excessive polishing, erasing parts of the memorial details and creating ghost-like fields where structure should be. And with each new discovery, the perceived value and rarity of the 1994 cent increases, fueling further searches and greater demand, especially among younger collectors entering the hobby who are eager to chase after coins with big stories and big values. And because the 1994 penny remains relatively modern, there's still a chance that examples with major errors are hiding in bank rolls, in old coffee cans, in coin jars under beds or in drawers, and every so often a new example is discovered in circulation, immediately drawing the attention of the entire numismatic community and reigniting the frenzy around this already legendary coin. And in addition to its historical minting errors, the 1994 cent holds a unique place in coinage history as one of the final years before the digital era transformed minting practices, which means it was struck using many of the traditional mechanical systems that were prone to human error and unexpected breakdowns, further increasing the likelihood of fascinating and valuable mistakes that are now impossible to replicate. And because of this transitional context, the 1994 penny is often considered one of the last great error-prone issues of the 20th century, and as the years pass, fewer and fewer unsearched rolls from 1994 remain, making it even more difficult to find pristine examples or undiscovered errors. And this scarcity is directly responsible for driving values skyward, as competition among high-end collectors and institutional investors becomes more intense, and this is how the 1994 cent, once passed over as ordinary, became an international sensation worth $62 million and climbing. And while not every 1994 penny is valuable, the small number that exhibit major errors in pristine condition are now seen as blue-chip investments with long-term appreciation potential. And major auction houses continue to list 1994 error cents among their highlight lots, often giving them prominent catalog placement and marketing campaigns. And as a result, these coins now command respect not just as numismatic curiosities but as legitimate alternative assets, with many investors diversifying their portfolios with rare coin holdings, and some financial experts even recommending error coins like the 1994 cent as hedges against inflation and economic uncertainty, given their fixed supply and high historical value. And for collectors and enthusiasts alike, the 1994 cent has become a symbol of what makes coin collecting so addictive: the thrill of the hunt, the possibility of hidden treasure, the joy of discovery, and the hope that the next penny you pick up might be worth a fortune. And so as we wrap up this deep exploration into one of the most surprising stories in American coinage, we encourage you to check your change, dig through those old coin folders, and take a closer look at that forgotten penny sitting at the bottom of your drawer. Because if it's a 1994 and it has the right combination of errors, you might just be holding a $62 million piece of history. And if you enjoyed this incredible journey and want to discover more coins with unbelievable backstories and mind-blowing values, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment on this treasure-filled adventure through numismatic legends. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating, misunderstood, and highly valuable pieces of modern American currency, the 2001 cent coin, a coin that has stunned collectors, auction houses, and investors alike by reaching an extraordinary valuation of $27 million, all because of the errors, minting mistakes, and extremely rare anomalies associated with it. So if you're holding onto any 2000 pennies or have a jar full of old change somewhere in your house, this is one video you cannot afford to miss, because this 1 cent coin might just make you a millionaire. And the story begins in the year 2000, a pivotal moment for coin production in the United States when the mint was transitioning into the 21st century and making adjustments to their processes, technology, and quality control systems. But despite the advancements, the year turned out to be rife with complications. And some of those complications resulted in the creation of a handful of extraordinary error coins that continue to baffle experts and delight collectors across the globe. And among the billions of 2000 pennies that were produced, over 14 billion in total across Philadelphia and Denver, were a few incredibly rare coins that were mistakenly struck using incorrect or damaged dies, wrong planchets, or suffered from minting anomalies during the striking process. And one of the most talked about and highly sought after errors is the 2000 wide AM variety, which features a wider than normal space between the letters A and M in America on the reverse of the coin, a detail that might sound minor to the untrained eye but to a seasoned collector or a professional numismatist is a red-hot ticket to wealth, because the 2000 wide AM penny was not intended for general circulation but instead for proof coins. And the presence of that design on a regular circulation coin suggests that a proof reverse die was mistakenly used during the production of circulation strikes at the Philadelphia Mint, making this error both a technical curiosity and a rarity. And because so few of these wide AM examples have been found in circulation, each one commands enormous value on the open market, particularly if it is in mint state or higher condition, and the value only increases if the coin exhibits other features such as full red color, high strike quality, and no signs of post-mint damage. But the wide AM is just the beginning, because the year 2000 also saw a number of incredible die clash errors, where dies collided without a planchet in between, transferring design elements from one die to the other, and later struck coins then displayed ghost-like impressions of design elements in unintended locations, creating some of the most visually fascinating and rare error types imaginable. And certain 2000 Lincoln cents have been found with these clash die features where parts of the obverse design, like Lincoln's chin or the words of the motto, appear faintly on the reverse or vice versa, and the visual effect is so striking that it immediately sets the coin apart from regular circulation issues and propels its value to astronomical levels. And then there are the off-center strikes, which occur when the planchet is improperly fed into the press, resulting in coins that are only partially struck with missing portions and incomplete designs. And when an off-center 2000 penny still displays the date and mint mark clearly, its rarity and value increase exponentially, particularly if the strike is between 40% and 60% off-center, creating a dramatic look that collectors crave. And next we have the double strikes, where a coin is struck more than once either on the same side or on both sides but slightly rotated, leading to overlapping designs and strange duplications that confuse the eye and elevate the coin's uniqueness. And some 2001-cent coins exhibit perfectly visible double-struck features that are aligned just enough to see both impressions clearly, making them among the most valuable double-strike errors known to exist from that year. And another extraordinary error comes in the form of wrong planchet strikes, where a coin is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or even a foreign coin, and several examples have surfaced of 2000 Lincoln cents being struck on dime planchets, resulting in smaller, thinner coins that still show the Lincoln design but with edge cuts and clipped lettering, and these errors are so rare that even seasoned collectors may never see one in person. And then we have clipped planchets, where the blank metal disc used to create the coin was improperly cut from the metal sheet, leading to crescent-shaped gaps or curved clips that are both visually striking and mechanically fascinating. And 2000 pennies with clean, curved clips and full visible dates are incredibly desirable and fetch premium prices at auction. And for those that have partial collar strikes, where the collar die fails to fully encase the planchet during striking, you'll notice a flattened or distorted edge that creates a thick, beveled appearance known as a railroad rim. And when combined with other errors, such as off-center strikes or double dies, these rare features amplify the coin's uniqueness and increase its market value considerably. And speaking of double dies, although extremely rare, there are 2000 pennies known to have been struck with double die obverse or reverse features, especially doubling on the letters of Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, which are telltale signs of a doubled die and are often mistaken for mechanical doubling, but when verified by a grading authority, such doubled dies from 2000 can be worth thousands or tens of thousands depending on the severity and grade. And in addition to these mechanical and striking errors, the 2001-cent coin also holds value in terms of its color designation, with high-grade red examples, designated RD by grading services, selling for significantly more than their brown, BN, or red-brown, RB, counterparts, and coins graded MS68 RD or higher are extremely rare and often sold in private deals or high-profile auctions. And when a coin with such a high grade also contains one or more of the rare errors we've discussed, such as a wide AM, a double strike, or an off-metal strike, it can fetch unimaginable sums. And there have been whispers in the collector world of specific 2000 era coins changing hands for millions of dollars. Particularly those that combine visual appeal with mechanical rarity and pristine condition. And there are also cases of so-called mule errors, where the obverse of one coin is paired with the reverse of another, and although no confirmed mule involving the 2000 penny has been fully authenticated, rumors and ongoing investigations continue to fuel speculation that such a specimen may exist, possibly struck in error during experimental runs or during a transitional minting phase, and if such a mule were to surface, it could easily shatter existing coin sale records and push the value of a 2001-cent coin even higher than its current high watermark of $27 million, and this immense valuation is supported not only by rarity and demand but by cultural fascination, as error coins have increasingly become a symbol of hidden value, sparking interest in younger generations and going viral on social media platforms where stories of lucky finders stir massive public interest, encouraging more people to check their change and learn about coin collecting. And as awareness of these rare 2000 pennies grows, more people are submitting their coins for professional grading, resulting in a clearer census of known examples and confirming just how few of these anomalies actually exist, further reinforcing their rarity and long-term investment potential. And the story doesn't stop there, because the 2000 Lincoln cent represents a unique moment in U.S. mint history, a transitional time when older technology was still in use even as newer systems were being phased in, meaning that there was a brief window when both old and new minting methods overlapped, creating fertile ground for mistakes, misalignments, and experimental runs that never should have left the mint but somehow did. And it's within this precise historical and technical context that the most valuable 2000 pennies were born. And beyond the technicalities, the sheer intrigue and thrill of finding one of these coins has helped shape the modern narrative around coin hunting and numismatic collecting, turning what used to be a niche hobby into a vibrant, growing community of people eager to discover the next million-dollar penny. And every new era discovery from 2000 adds more depth to this already remarkable story, whether it's a rotated die strike, a retained die break, Or a planchet lamination that splits and peels to reveal internal layers. Each unique feature tells a story about the minting process. Gone awry and creates a collectible item that is as much a conversation piece as it is a financial asset, and the more dramatic and visible the error, the more likely the coin will attract high-profile collectors and institutional buyers looking to add it to investment portfolios or museum collections. And when you combine all of these elements, low known population, dramatic visual appeal, professional third-party grading, auction records, and growing public interest, you begin to understand how a 2001-cent coin could possibly reach a valuation of $27 million, and it's not just hype or market manipulation, it's the convergence of real-world rarity, collector psychology, and historical context. And while most of the coins from that year remain face value or close to it, the few that carry these errors are modern marvels of minting mishaps, celebrated not